think this question is for you. Tell us how deferred prosecution is handled in this county, and do you know whether our district attorney's office has a particular policy about the use of deferred prosecution?
Yes, sir. It's underutilized, in my opinion. While I stand here and we're sitting here this evening and talk a tough game about removing plea offers and trying people straight up for murder and rape and robbery, at the same time, an intelligent approach to crime is to realize that there are youthful first-time offenders who may be charged with a felony, but these are individuals that we can divert from our system, those that can go on to lead productive lives. But you've got to give them that chance. And we can do that. With deferred prosecution, there's somebody that we can look after, we can see that they're doing the right things, and at the end of it, if everything works out, they don't have a criminal record. So they're not prevented from getting a loan. They're not prevented from getting a job. They're not prevented from going to school. As it stands now, all deferred prosecutions go through this code, I believe. And as to low-level felonies for those first-time offenders, if it's a felony, it's off the table. You don't get that chance. Now, they may get a plea to a misdemeanor, but what does that do? You're still convicting them of a, say, misdemeanor larceny. It's hard to get a job at that point, particularly if you're 19 years old, you didn't graduate high school, you don't have any skills, maybe you wanted to go to community college, but now you've got a conviction, now you've got problems, now you're on probation. And what we do is we create a cycle where we build the opposite side, where there are more criminals, and more, and more. And it just grows. We have to be smart about how we approach crime, and being tough on crime doesn't mean removing mercy. Mercy takes more strength to show than vengeance. And it needs to be done on that level for those youthful first-time offenders. They've got to have second chances, or our system will just implode from the numbers.
Ms. Cook?
Yes, sir. I'm going to go back to the previous question because I like to deal in facts. My opponent handled 8 murder cases while he was in my office. Facts are he averaged trying to a jury verdict a little over 1.5 cases a year. Oftentimes, that was the least amount of the other Superior Court prosecutors in office. Deferred prosecution, if you have somebody that goes to Walmart and they steal something, they're a first-time offender, misdemeanor larceny, I'm willing to give you a chance. You don't have a prior criminal record. Give you a chance to get on the right path. Don't come back the next time and say, oops, I made another mistake. I don't give slap on the wrist. For deferred prosecution, what my opponent wants to implement for felonies, for low-level felonies, if somebody breaks into your home, your business, their case gets dismissed. No record of it. Assault by strangulation is a low-level felony. Indecent liberties with a student is a low-level felony. Embezzlement under $100,000 is a low-level felony. Who does this benefit is your question as the citizens of this community. It benefits the criminal defendant, and that's not what I do. I'm here to represent the victims and be a voice for victims. This does not help the victims. Usually deferred prosecution, those folks will have to come back in court about a year later to address that particular case, to get their restitution, to be heard, which they have a right in regards to sentencing. In my administration, all cases that are charged are important, and I'm not in the business of getting slaps on the wrist.
Well, I think our